I just live on the mower in the summertime. My yard gets bigger every week.
It's expanding. It's creeping out.
Your yard's dead. You just won't stop mowing.
Just dirt. It's just down to the dirt.
I haven't seen my family in years.
Pull the deck
please
up.
Stop mowing, Bobby.
Pull
We
the
don't
deck
need
up.
it.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. You know who it is. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. We are talking top 24 Dynasty edges tonight. Boys, it is good to be back in the Sode Shack with you all.
So good. So good. Everything feels right. Love to see it. Love to do it. Love to be here with you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Missed you guys.
Bobo?
I'm still not on board with this new intro, but
You don't like it? It's a little laid back, smoother,
I
Josh.
feel like there needs to be
Come on in,
jazz
guys.
or
Come on in,
something.
guys.
Welcome
Hey,
in to the IDP show.
get you a bowl. Get you a pint.
Get your bowl
You
of
know?
cereal, Adam.
Yeah, get you some cereal.
It's just,
Absolutely.
yeah, we've been doing the cereal with the kiddos now. I
Yeah.
think you told me that era was coming with the
yeah.
kids.
It's nice. That's
Getting
the
back
best
into
part-
cereal.
Best part about being a parent is getting
Yep.
to dig back into all the foods you
We
used
got
to.
Cookie Crisp at the house currently.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Yep. We got Cinnamon Toast Crunch always in rotation.
Oh, yeah.
And what I like is I walk through the cereal aisle and I'm like, I love it all.
All
It's
good.
all great.
They did change the formula on some of them. Let's see which one. Like Cocoa Puffs does not taste the way it used to.
That's a
Okay.
shame. That's a shame.
There's some other ones like the I think Count Chocula. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
That one
Of
definitely
course.
tastes different.
Do y'all remember the one that was like a waffle
It's Waffle Crisp.
waffle crisp?
It's one of my
A
favorites.
very
All-timer.
unique flavor to it.
Good one.
Yeah.
Now they have Eggo. I think Eggo is kind of the Waffle
terrible.
Crisp
No, thanks.
sort of stand-in.
You know, there's an Eggo Pop-Tart now,
That's gross.
as well as an Apple Jacks Pop-Tart.
We've said
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts are getting a little out there.
Yeah.
They need to come back to center a little
They're just
bit.
reaching out, I feel like, to all these brands. Like, hey, Tabasco, y'all want to maybe couple together with a little Tabasco
They
Pop-Tart?
had Baja Blast chips, I think Doritos
Oh,
at
wow.
Sam's. I was like, what
Did you get them?
What are we doing here,
About
guys?
time.
Good.
About time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
About time.
Speaking
About
of
time.
the
Yeah,
Mountain Dew alcohol,
combine
did
those
you
two.
ever get around to try
I
anything?
did not.
No?
Really
What?
missing out.
The Mountain Dew alcohol that was
No,
coming
we never
out?
did that. Also saw there was a Monster with alcohol now in the gas
Oh, that
stations.
sounds, that sounds
cool.
interesting.
That's exactly what we need the truckers to get their hands on.
Yeah. We'll try it one week. That's
We'll
my
try it.
promise to y'all. I promise.
Throwing it back
I
to
have
the-
4 of them for y'all.
I did go back and listen to some of our old episodes, and it was just
Oh,
hilarious
wow.
how much the food and drink talk. So we're taking it back to the old school Big 3 IDP days here.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
The best episode ever was the spicy chicken from Popeyes when we finally got our hands on it.
Boy, that sandwich
Took
is so
forever, but the live taste test, that was a good one. Link that into the description of the YouTube, Josh.
good. I will not. But thank you for your suggestion. Welcome in, y'all. Like we said, top 24 Dynasty edges. We are going to be doing the top 24 edges, top 24 DBs, and then the top 48 linebackers. So we know y'all love linebackers, so we're going to dive a little deeper on them. But tonight we are kicking off the top Dynasty assets with the edge rushers, and this is a lot of fun, Addy, putting together the list, which is pulled from your Dynasty rankings available for paid supporters over at the IDPshow.com. We are #blessed with an influx of edge talent right now, both NFL and IDP wise.
Yeah, we are in a very good spot. Very reminiscent of wide receivers, if you're looking for the offensive parallel. Yeah, loaded up. I mean, 24, like we're going to leave, this is just the top 24. We're going to leave a lot of people off in this episode. We might have a lot of people in the comments upset with us, but I apologize. It's just the league's in good shape right now. A lot of youngins, a lot of good uns. And even, a lot of superstars that are, aging and getting close to 30. So a little bit of everything for you out there. Fun time to play Dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people at different points in their career as you look throughout this list, Bobo.
Yeah, #more thought this weekend. Matt Judon or Travon Walker scores more points in 2024. There's a lot of those guys where it's like, is Travon going to take a step? Is Judon going to take a step back? You're right. There's a lot of people on their way out, but there's also a lot of young new guys that we hope to see Aidan Hutchinson take maybe another step this next year. Hope to see some guys on the fringe as well. Greg Rousseau, like to see him take a step. I almost says Aziz Ojulari. We know that step has, he's off the
Steps
cliff.
off in the ditch.
Yeah, I was thinking of Kayvon Thibodeaux. It'd be nice to see him take a step as well. But
Yeah, we'll get to him.
oh yeah, we'll talk him.
Yeah, I like picturing. Speaking of the ditch, Bobo just getting so into these mower thoughts that
yeah.
he's just straight off the edge into the ditch with the mower.
Dude, I just live on the mower in the summertime. My yard gets bigger every week.
It's expanding. It's creeping out.
Your yard's dead. You just won't stop mowing.
It's just dirt. It's just down to the dirt.
Like,
I hadn't seen my family in years.
Pull the deck
Please
up.
stop mowing, Bobby.
Pull
We
the
don't
deck
need
up.
it.
You're just mowing the dirt and blowing it all on the cars.
I got to think on.
Yes. It's the only place I have space to think about fantasy football.
Oh man,
It's not like you have a podcast.
y'all got the pollen in the eyes right now.
Oh, the pollen. Also, the mosquitoes are out.
Oh, huge this year.
Humongous.
Yeah.
I've got whelps all over me.
Yeah, we get
That's
our
separate though.
We get our house
Sure,
sprayed,
from
and
other stuff.
the guy pointed out like there's a little hole in this tree stump with water and these mosquitoes. There's like 200 mosquito eggs down in
Put
here.
your little
Larvae
diesel
or
fuel
whatever.
down in there.
I did. I just dumped it
Nice.
in there and just smothered them all. So I was like, you bastards are not getting into this yard. So
that.
it's a good time of year.
Love
A
that.
lot of allergies and a lot of skeeters. But
Hot.
It's hot. It's been a hot
It was
week.
like a 90-degree day
It's-
Sunday.
It
Yeah.
feels kind of like, you know how you were saying there for a while, you're like, every day is just windy. I feel like it's kind of like it's summer.
Oh,
The
yeah.
clouds are different the last couple of days.
Yep.
The breeze is a little less, and then the humidity is, they
Yep.
turned it up.
Yep.
It is officially that time of year.
It was tough. I played a golf round Sunday, and I was not ready for the heat, dude.
Yeah.
The back nine, I was,
Sweating.
Shook.
tough to get through it.
Yeah.
So we're
The
gonna
wind
have
and
to-
the sun
You gotta
just
hydrate.
taking you out.
pretty much.
You need
yeah.
some liquid IV. Speaking of a former
There we
sponsor.
go. Yeah, I'd love to get you guys back.
Yeah, that'd be great. Get Manscaped for the ball lotion and get the.
I don't think
liquid
people like
IV.
them. I don't think people like the Manscaped ads.
That was too
Yeah.
much for me.
And also, I don't. Yeah, it's just.
It was funny
They were
twice.
4.5-minute ad reads. It was a lot to get through.
and they
We're too
changed
old
them
for
every
those.
2 weeks. That was the thing I hated.
way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tone it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. I'll make sure to put in the YouTube timestamps nonsense rambling for all the folks who just
Apologies.
Yeah, skip
Hey,
ahead.
we're not done. He's done.
Yes, this could go on. We could get some golf talk in here. So,
Sure.
but what we're gonna
Hey,
do?
I played disc golf tournament
You
this
hush,
weekend.
Sir.
Did y'all see that?
Yeah,
I
did really
played
well.
pretty well.
One of the best rounds of your life.
Yes, sir.
Proud of you, Bob.
Very proud.
Sorry, Josh.
We're going to go through. We have 5 tiers, and Adam has broken his top 24 down into 5 tiers. So like I mentioned, we'll throw out the names in each tier, and then we'll go a little deeper on some of these guys that kind of stand out. So boys, let's kick things off in tier number 1. And we are starting off with Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Aidan Hutchinson, and Will Anderson. Addy, I think you might get a little bit of, I don't want to say flack, but some questions, some comments on the YouTubes. A couple young guns in here, a couple big names out of tier 1, but let's start right at the top. Nick Bosa, number 1 overall edge. Tell me why.
Stud. Absolute stud. I mean, crushes it PFF wise. He has never, we look at career, 92.2 overall PFF grade last year, 90.6 in 2022, 89.4 in 2021, towards ACL in 2020, 89.8 overall PFF as a rookie. Pressure rate, out of control. Let me look and see what we have as career-wise for Nick Bosa. We have a
I have 16.3 here in the notes.
16.3 career. That's one of the best among all these guys. Like Micah Parsons has a really good one, 19.7. We'll get there, but I mean that's better than Maxx Crosby. That's better than TJ Watt. That's better than Myles Garrett. Now those guys do have more reps, but Nick Bosa is prolific, man, and I think that he's going to continue to get better. I mean, I think last year he had a bit of a down year. Remember, he didn't start the season normal. I think he missed all of the offseason pretty much.
It was a contract situation, right?
I think
Just
so.
signed the 5-year, $170 million
And
deal.
I think he even missed week 1, maybe.
Yeah, we can go back and look.
But anyway, he just wasn't locked in last year. This year, I feel like it's going to be a much better situation. They even got him some more help. We got Leonard Floyd joining the squad. They brought someone else in too, didn't they?
Yes, I think so.
I'm blanking, but
Well, they brought back. No, it was the guy.
Clellan Farrell.
Well, did they bring back Farrell? It was Caleb.
Gross Matos.
Gross Matos. I was
go.
like, is it Kayvon
Yeats.
Chason? Is it Yeats? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Javon Hargrave, I feel like he's going to have a better year. You know, that was his first year there in San Fran last year. So yeah, I just love Nick Bosa, man. I think he's so good and so slept on. If you look at points per game for the last 4 years, never mind. We're not going to do that, Josh.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to
Here we
look
go.
at
Here we
that.
go. Here we go. Here we
He
go.
found it.
15.3 points per game in 2023, 20.6 in 2022, 17.4 in 2021, and then 2020 is when he tore the ACL. So we're not going to discuss
Not going to
that.
count that against him.
But I mean, he dude's crushing it. I mean, I think you can. I don't think you can have him outside the top 4. But I mean, honestly, the list is so good, man. Like I'm not going to argue with you if you want to put Parsons 1 or if you want to put Crosby 1. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting discussion, Bobo.
Mm-hmm.
Addy has Nick Bosa, edge 1. Who's your edge 1?
Let me tell you these points per game. 2020, 22.8. 21, 26.3. 22, 15.8. 23, 22.7. I think that we could be seeing the beginnings of the last 4 years for TJ Watt. I'm not saying TJ Watt's going out. I'm saying I think you could see Nick Bosa's points per game entering that TJ Watt's last 4-year category where
Gotcha.
he was around 20, 21, 22, 23 points per game. Nick Bosa is the 101 to me. I think there are cases to be made for other people, but I feel like Nick Bosa is by far the safest and also has still room to grow. You know, 26 years old. He's a year and a half older than Parsons, which I'm not knocking that too much. I still think Bosa could take a step as he gets closer to age 30.
Yeah, so you're going Bosa,
Yeah.
edge 1. Mine would be Hutchinson.
Okay.
I would have Hutch as the edge 1 just because of the age. 23.7 years old. Going as he was the edge 6, 2023 finish, going as the edge 6 right now, according to our ADP. So points per game, 2023, 16.7, went ballistic end of the season, had like a 4 or 5 game sack streak. So end of the season hot. I love to see that. I love that Detroit team. I love the coaching staff. I love the culture. So again, I would not fault anyone. I don't fault you all for having Bosa at 1. If you wanted to put Will Anderson at 1 or Parsons at 1, I mean, anyone in this top tier, I think, has a strong case for 101.
I think a lot of people would probably have Maxx Crosby number 1.
I was going to say, I think he will be the one that we will get the most flack for.
I think so. And I'll go ahead and explain that. I mean, I'm a little worried about Maxx Crosby, quite honestly. The guy has played a lot of snaps for being as young as he is. He's you know, you look at the age and it's not that big of a deal. He's 20.
He is 20.
He's 26.8. So he'll be 27 here pretty soon. But dude, he plays a ton. Like I was comparing him to like TJ Watt. Like he's right there. He's way ahead of his of TJ Watt's snap pace, like easily. And that's kind of how it is for every single.
Have we seen a snap pace like his since he came into the league?
No. And I know his pressure rate and the PFF numbers have declined a little bit, but that's also due to volume. I think. I mean, the guy just plays a ton, so I wouldn't look too much into that. But I just worry about the mileage. There's better competition now there too. I mean, you got Christian Wilkins there in the middle. Tyree Wilson, is he going to take a step? Malcolm Kuntz, I like him quite a bit.
Yep.
So I don't know. I just feel like we've probably seen the peak from Maxx Crosby, and I am worried like if he were to get hurt or something like that, you know.
He is going as the overall 101 in best ball drafts right now.
Yeah.
So I think the folks will be like, where's Mad Max?
Well, and, you know, Lauren put me onto this last year, but, you know, a majority of the season, Maxx played with a pretty good knee injury.
Yeah.
And, you know, that knee stuff kind of starts to crank up.
What happens when you're playing 95%
Yeah.
of snaps?
And as hard
pretty
as he
much every
plays,
game.
man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's someone that'll
Absolutely.
play through stuff,
Yeah.
so like his situations could get worse.
Yeah. Don't give that stuff time to rest. It gets to be an issue.
Any consideration for Will Anderson over Aidan Hutchinson?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have Anderson 4. But I mean, I think there's a very real situation where I could have Anderson number 1 next year.
I think if I was gonna pick a guy to be, when we have this conversation next year, the edge 1 who's not the edge 1 right now, that would be my pick. Yeah.
I really anticipate all these guys' points per game to go up. So Will Anderson 11.5 and 23, Hutchinson 16.7, Parsons 16.6, Nick Bosa 26.6. Whereas you look at, like, not to peek behind the curtain too much, but at least in the Dynasty ranks, the next 3 edges, Maxx Crosby's points per game in 23, 19.3, TJ Watt 22.7, Myles Garrett 17.2. So I think with the with the age, with the not athleticism, but with the maturity, with the growth in the sport, understanding the defense a little bit better, understanding pass rushing better, I think you're going to see all of these guys excel in points per game this year, and I think you're going to see a couple of them sniff that 20 points per game category. Parsons needs to be paid, right?
Yes, he does. He's holding out right now. So just something to keep your eye on. I mean, what's going on with Jerry Jones in Dallas right now? Not paying Dak, not paying CD, not paying Micah Parsons. It's a little weird. It's a little weird what's happening in Dallas right now. I think Micah Parsons will get paid.
Yeah.
But, because Jerry Jones has historically paid his guys above market rate. I just don't know what's going on right now, man.
Well, and then there's
he's kind of in a funk.
After the day one, him just, like, gushing about Jonathan Brooks and his son, like, dude, you just want to show him the whole board or, like, what?
Yeah.
And then they bring Zeke back. It's
and
just
now
like,
they're doing
what
a
mess.
Netflix documentary on him. So
he's getting old, man.
He's in the
Starting
twilight.
to slip.
Starting to slip a little bit.
Sure.
So, but I will say, everyone in this top tier, it feels like it is Jover, very much Jover, are still ascending. They are all, I don't think, even including Nick Bosa, I don't think Bosa has hit his absolute ceiling yet.
Right.
I think he could even go up another level.
I really want to see another step from Parsons. I'm still a little skeptical about Parsons.
16.6 points per game in 2023.
I think we will. I don't think we've seen.
Finished as the edge 7.
He came into the league as such a maniac. That 19.7 points per game in 23 is hard to look away from.
Yep.
He's got to do some more for me to be the 101. I feel like that's going to be a little hot takey too. There's a lot of people that's like, I can't believe y'all don't have Parsons just the 101.
See, I kind of feel like the IDP Twitter streets are a little bit down on Parsons.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I'm just, following the wrong people, but
I don't think so. You don't see a lot of Micah Parsons stills. Mm-hmm. No one's really getting rid of him.
Agreed.
And he cost a lot.
Yeah.
If you're in a league that, that makes sense.
But I think people are feeling that, like, I feel like Parsons should be just a little bit better.
I think so, yeah.
I think you're feeling that fatigue a little bit.
But people should stop that because he's incredible. I mean, he really is in the pressure rate. He was out of control last year. I think he was number 1 in pressure rate.
19.7.
Yeah.
That's the Manaland.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel great about Parsons. Also, he's got a good situation, too, DeMarcus Lawrence still there. Bob's boy, Osa.
Sure, Osa.
Marshawn Nealand. I'm kind of a fan of him. I've been getting him a lot at the end of these drafts, after the drafts are over on waivers. Sam
remember, Williams,
is he going to take another step?
It's just Sam Williams there. You lost Dante Fowler. You lost Dorrance Armstrong. So that room is suddenly pretty thin now.
Yeah.
So Nealand, I like, is a nice stash because he's one DeMarcus Lawrence injury away from probably getting some healthy amount of snaps.
How long was Dan Quinn the DC there?
I have like 3 years, I think.
So Parsons whole time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
So we'll see how he adjusts to a new defensive coordinator.
Maybe Quinn made him.
Maybe. We'll see.
He'll be a product of Quinn.
Any of those guys y'all are trading?
Sure. I mean, if someone wants to come give me some high picks or something like that,
I was gonna say,
I'll definitely.
These are all guys you're moving for first rounders?
Yeah.
Or
I need a first.
Offensive studs? Like certified
Where would you
25 studs?
What rookie pick would you be willing to pay for Will Anderson? Let's say it's a let's do Superflex. I think a lot of people like Superflex leagues. What are you parting with a first round pick for Will Anderson in this class?
Yes.
Any of them?
Yes.
And how low are you going? Are you going to give up the 108, which I've gotten Brock Bowers at 108?
Brock Bowers or Will Anderson? That's a great question.
That's tough.
Probably
right there,
Brock just because of positional scarcity with tight end, But, I mean, wouldn't fault you if you wanted the Will Anderson side.
I think that's where you start thinking about it.
Something that's interesting, also, if you sub to the show, the IDPshow.com, in the ranks are Adam's trade value. So right now, let's just say if you moved Will Anderson, Adam, you've got him as a first and a third. So that'd be interesting. If you moved him for the 109, grabbed a guy like Bowers, grabbed a guy like, Odunze, Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, Benson, whatever, Brooks. And then even in the third, you can go and get Dallas Turner, Jared Verse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Latu.
If I could cash out for that, I would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Is it as appealing in 1QB leagues?
Absolutely.
109?
I think so, because I do like that could be Jonathan Brooks. That could be Keon Coleman, Lab McConkey.
Pearsall.
Now, the third is not going to be great.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm
potentially.
holding Will Anderson if that's the package in 1QB leagues.
I would probably want a little more. I would want a
second.
Yeah,
I want a first and a second.
I think so. And a 1 QB.
Yes. Superflex.
Superflex, I'll take a first and
First
a
and
third,
a third.
which is what the ranks are.
And if you have the second and 1 QB, 1 QB, I'm just doubling down two offensive picks.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to get Dallas Turner in the second.
Never know.
Should.
What if you get the Will Anderson replacement?
Yeah, but I mean, man, there's
Plus,
still some good offense in that second round.
One of the top wide receivers off the board.
Boy, I feel good about Dallas Turner.
We'll
get to him.
Let's talk about the next tier, because in the next tier after that is Dallas Turner. But in tier number 2, we talked about him a little bit earlier. It is Maxx Crosby, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and Josh Allen. So the top 2 tiers both have 4 players. Again, tier number 1, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Aidan Hutchinson, Will Anderson. Tier number 2, Maxx Crosby, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Josh Allen. Bob, I'll kick it over to you first.
Oh, boy.
Who do you want to talk about from this 4-pack?
I want to talk about Josh Allen.
Let's do it.
Because I love Josh Allen. And he's been an anomaly to me in Dynasty the last couple years. He just gets paid, but he is now 28 years old. Finishes the edge 5 and 23, 18.1 points per game in 2023. Has to be the best season of his career. I don't know if
by far.
I don't know if his rookie year is in the is in here. It's probably not. But 89.5 overall PFF grade, 17 TFL, 17 and a half sacks. The guy was amazing. I just,
He's a great sell right now.
Yeah, he is.
I think if anyone in this top 8 I'm most eager to cash out on, it's Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's a guy that
17 and a half sacks.
Great for best ball, really good for best ball because he's quite boom bust, and you can get him at a little bit of a value, I feel like.
Edge 7. He's going basically as like that
First rounder. Yeah, he's a
Never mind.
player.
Never mind. Just saw that. So scratch that.
Yeah.
Can you delete that, Josh?
No, I can't. I can't. Can't do it.
I don't know. Josh Allen just seems old. 28 years old just to get
Just
your
seems
contract.
old.
How many years was he franchise tagged? Once?
I don't think he was franchise tagged, was he? He was franchise tagged, but they got the deal done.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
So they got the deal done. 5-year, $141 million. So he got paid. You're coming off what might be his best season ever of his career.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it just makes me a little nervous.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this tier is really about the age. I mean, Maxx Crosby didn't because, like I mentioned, the mileage, and I'll get to that in just a second. But, I mean, the age of these guys, Maxx Crosby, he's 27. TJ Watt's going to be 30. Myles Garrett's 28 and a half. Josh Allen is 28. Now, like I was talking earlier about the snaps, this is pretty interesting here.
Eddie, you got to make your font not 8-point
I know.
font.
I'm sorry. I
You're
just
always
got so much stuff in here,
You
guys.
need some spectacles.
Gotta cram it all in here, so we gotta get it small. This font.
Got to cram it all in.
That's right. You know what I'm talking about.
I do indeed.
That's right. All right. So Maxx Crosby, he has played 2,950 career pass rush snaps. TJ Watt has played 3,084.
Jeez.
Maxx Crosby has played, again, 2,950. Josh Allen has played 2,125. So just a massive difference in snaps.
A lot of mileage.
A lot of mileage
for TJ and for Maxx.
And Maxx is he's starting to break down a little bit. We've
knee injury.
He had some surgeries this offseason.
Yes.
Every offseason.
We know the gangster stuff is concerning you, where he's smoking cigars and he's just kind of feeling himself a little bit.
I think he's I have seen some clips of the pod. He does seem like he's getting a little better and maybe chilling out a little bit. So.
That's good.
The pod seems good.
I think
these athletes are taking over the pod game.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he was really feeling himself at the end of last season, basically strong-arming Mark Davis into hiring Antonio Pierce as the head coach. So if you want to know who the most powerful person in the building is, it is Maxx Crosby.
It is.
In Las Vegas.
Him and Minshew did a pod recently.
Did they?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was that was the little ass boy comment or something, and then he's like, Maxx is so angry.
That's how Minshew really is, though. It's weird.
Yeah, he's a bro.
Strange. Very bro-ish.
He's a very, very much a bro.
Interesting.
Josh Allen, a good sell right now, Addy. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I think this whole list right here is a pretty good sell, honestly. These are contender pieces.
Yes.
Crosby's still 26.8 years old. Josh Allen's got 2 years on Crosby.
Yep.
That's so interesting.
And then Trent Jordan Watt, as you have him in the Dynasty ranks, which is one of my favorite quirks of.
He deserves it.
Well, I think he is.
He's awesome.
He's for me. I want him. He is best ball 101.
Yes.
I think he is the 101 in best ball. I've had the 101. I think in one draft this offseason. Took TJ Watt. Yep. No questions asked. Dynasty wise, I think I'd rather shoot for everyone else on this list.
Just scared,
yep.
Right? Just a little. We know about the injury history. We know about the injury history with his brother too. So I mean that's in the back of everyone's mind. And he's just getting up there in age. I mean, if the more injuries that continue to happen, the less. I mean, the more and more his value is going to keep going down. So. I'm just not trying to invest too heavily in assets like that.
You want to get out a year ahead of time.
I think so.
Don't get out a year too late.
Yeah.
And so I think all these guys, we're not a year away from them falling off the cliff, but you just need to be thinking I think a lot of these guys are closer to the end than the beginning.
Right. The value is not going up for these guys.
It's pretty much at a plateau right now for TJ, for Myles Garrett, for Mad Maxx.
And that's really the main thought that everyone needs to take away with Mad Maxx. I'm pretty sure we're at the peak. Mm-hmm. So,
or we're past the peak.
Because he's playing like 100% of snaps, bro.
Right.
It's not like there's some untapped upside here with Maxx
Crosby. But also
Crosby.
the production, I don't know that production is sustainable. Mm-hmm. And he's got competition for tackles now, too, in Christian Wilkins. Mm-hmm. So, I mean...
Christian Wilkins had a lot of tackles.
That's been what's really made Maxx an extremely valuable asset, too. I mean, those tackles, like, dude almost put up 100 tackles last year.
You play 100 snaps.
Yeah.
You're liable to get that many tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Myles Garrett, let's not gloss over him. He feels like he always gets a little slept on in these conversations. It just feels like...
He had a bad second half. He got hurt too, but same thing with him. I mean, he's 28 now. I don't think we're going to see. Maybe he reaches another level. But
pressure rate 13.6.
That's career, right?
I think so. In the notes here, yeah. Edge 8 was his finish in 2023, going as the Edge 5 right now.
Yeah.
So
love Maxx Garrett. Or Myles Garrett.
That would be a sick combo.
That would be really
Maxx
cool.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Love the name,
Play
too.
100% of snaps.
Myles Garrett with just the Maxx Crosby arms.
Yes. And without the helmet swinging tendencies, that would be great, too. Well, let's get to this next tier, boys, because I personally like a lot of the guys in this tier. I think this is where folks are going to start to go, what? Because you're already crowning a lot of these rookies.
Oh, yeah. This is going to get me in trouble.
Let's go with Dallas Turner, top of tier 3. Brian Burns. Latu. He is up on the wall, folks. Jaelan Phillips after Latu. Danielle Hunter and Jared Verse round out this tier number 3. So, again, Dallas Turner, Brian Burns, Latu, Jaelan Phillips, Danielle Hunter, and Jared Verse round out tier 3. Let's talk about the rookies, Addy. I feel like that's kind of the point of contention here. You have always been, I don't want to say quick to crown these guys, but you've always been ahead of the curve in terms of the dynasty rankings and sort of projecting these dudes to be very valuable assets right out the gate. You've got Dallas Turner as your edge 9, Latu as your edge 11, and Jared Verse as your edge 14. Speak on it.
You got to get out in front of it. You know,
that's a good way to put it.
If these guys come out here and ball immediately, you ain't getting them. You know, so they're never going to be cheaper. Think about like all these guys, Turner, Latu, Verse, all of them are as cheap, I think, as they'll ever be until like the end of their careers, of course.
Yeah.
Until they become Khalil Max.
That's yes, they will be discounted.
But I think that's the type these guys are. I really, really like these top 3. But I mean, you gotta get them now. Otherwise, they're gonna be costing a first. I expect Latu and Verse to hit immediately. Like I really am not worried about either one of those. I think Dallas Turner, you're still going to have chances to maybe get in, but
we also said,
maybe not, dude.
We said there's a chance he comes out and is the best edge rusher for the Vikings day one.
And if he comes out and he is awesome immediately, like I think he's going to be the most valuable of the group, just because of the fact that he's 2 years younger.
Just that right there.
Alabama, all that stuff.
If you're breaking ties, just look at age.
Right. Doesn't have the injury concerns like Latu, right? I mean, so yeah, but I love all these guys. Like, I mean, maybe I've been considered to throw some shade at Latu because I am such a fan of Dallas Turner, but I love Latu too, man.
I think you've been a Latu fan. You comped him to Jaelan Phillips.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
I think that's very appropriate.
Yeah. I did have to kind of put my flag on Dallas Turner.
But
I love these guys. I like Verse a lot too.
This top 3 in this rookie class, Bobo, I can't think of. I'll go back through and kind of look while you guys are talking about the more recent draft classes, the top edges. This feels like maybe the best top 3 we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, so last year was Tyree Wilson. It was
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson. And then maybe
Will McDonald, Lucas Van Ness.
Yep.
It's pretty good, but
Karlaftis.
Like FAU, Myles Murphy.
There were 7 edge rushers in last year's first round.
Mixed bag.
But even prior to that, like Travon Walker.
Aidan Hutchinson. That's a good class, I think, to comp it to.
Yeah.
Yes. Who was the third
Trayvon, Aidan, and then Kayvon.
That's it.
I think that's a very good comp.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you've got Kayvon right in this next tier.
And then you probably have like
Jared Verse.
The Jaelan Phillips class was okay too. It's like Jaelan Phillips, Greg Rousseau, Quiddy Pay is gonna maybe be a bust.
Yeah.
But there's some other ones I'm probably missing.
This is a pretty nice.
This is nice. Though. And then what does Chop Robinson turn into? You know, and then there's we already mentioned Nealand, Braswell. So I do like this class, but I especially love it up at the top. But we'll probably get slack for that, but I mean, we've got pretty good track record on these guys. Like we've been pretty good about calling some of these guys out before they really pop. And I feel the same way about this class and these 3 especially.
Well, tell me why these guys, like what's the downside case for these 3 rookies? Like how could you, if you're trying to poke holes, I think we've acknowledged that Dallas Turner may be 3rd in snaps his rookie season.
Right.
But even if that's the case, I don't expect that to continue past 2024.
Yep.
I was listening to a Rams pod this week, and somebody with JB Long, I don't remember who it was, but they were basically saying how the whole Rams organization had forgotten what a first-round, like, edge rusher looks like. And they were like, Jared Verse, just, like, not only walking in the building, but also, like, just in stupid, non-padded OTAs. You're like, this guy is just different, you know?
Yeah.
He's different than Michael Hoyt. No offense to Michael. You know, we appreciate your
Different than Byron Young
last year. Yeah, absolutely. Byron Young was a freak athlete also. He's just not the size of Jared Verse. I mean,
the Rams are going to be enamored with this guy, man.
Oh, dude, it's going to be fun.
The last of the
Fisk.
3 drafted may get the most snaps because, like, they have no reason not to turn this guy loose.
Everything that I've heard from Fisk also is that, like, and I know it's hype season for everybody, so I take everything with a grain of salt. But a lot of the people that I trust are like, Braden Fisk is as fast as he looked at the combine.
Dude, he looks awesome.
Yeah.
Some of those clips I've been seeing recently, he looks explosive.
I think that in a lot of my rookie drafts that y'all dummies aren't in, I will be passing on the top 2. I don't have as much interest in Byron Murphy or Johnny Newton now with the injury stuff kind of going on.
DT.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
I'll be holding on to a little fifth for Braden
Oh,
Fisk.
for the DTs.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's a good call. I mean, I just picked him up off waivers.
Yeah, he's free.
I mean, he's free.
Yep.
Yeah, we got our
absolutely.
draft Saturday. I don't think Braden Fisk
Nah,
is
he'll
going
probably-
in a 5-rounder,
Yeah.
1 QB.
He will
I think
be.
Bobby has a
Yeah,
509.
he will be
It's
on.
He will be.
Got his
There we
name all
go.
over it.
Yeah, I've got
Amen.
two fists,
Yeah.
maybe three.
Yeah,
Maybe
we-
get-
You may need 3/5 to take
Yes,
Braden
sir.
Fisk.
Give
in
me
the fifth.
Kinchins.
Get you Kinchins and a fist
sir.
and a verse.
Give me Kinchins.
But I mean, all these guys just primo spots.
So,
you know?
Josh, you ranked that little tier. Rank the tier of Turner, Burns, Latu, Phillips, Hunter, Verse.
So I would actually jump Hunter up to tier 2 in Josh Allen's spot. I'm a huge Danielle Hunter fan.
Okay.
I think we are probably on that plateau with Danielle Hunter, but I really want that plateau, especially in Houston, opposite Will Anderson. Like, I think it's hard to say that we could see another step after what Danielle Hunter just did.
If I offered you Dallas Turner for Danielle Hunter, you doing it?
That's a really, really tough.
I know what I'm doing.
21-year-old Dallas Turner.
It's
29-year-old Danielle Hunter.
It's context specific.
I'm going through the
if I'm-
big D and don't mean Dallas.
If I'm pushing for it this year, I want Hunter, but yeah, otherwise I want Dallas Turner. I think it's really close though. I think
I think you're going to keep him in the tier he's in right now.
no, I would hop him up into that Josh Allen tier.
I loved it.
I'm not saying I kick Allen out of that
You're going
tier.
to hop old Turner up there too then?
Yes, I think you absolutely could. I think you could
sir.
put both Dallas Turner and Danielle Hunter up in tier 2.
We're splitting hairs, folks. I
No,
mean,
we
these
got to.
these top 20 are awesome.
We got to help
The
the
one
people.
that I think is the big question mark is Jaelan Phillips.
Yeah, right.
I think that's the one I can't quite figure out right now
I think-
because the Achilles
I feel
just scares me to death.
but I'm optimistic for Phillips. I mean, if anyone can come back, it's him. We've said that many a times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is still young.
When you said Carl Lawson's name, it just scared me to death.
It is definitely scary. But what I love about Phillips is the fact that he has seen himself be successful in the league. I mean, he was
Yes.
looking like one of the best pass rushers in the league before he tore the Achilles. So I'm hoping that he can just stay confident, get that thing back to 90%, you know, of what it was.
If we get 90% Jaelan Phillips, does he fit right here in this pecking order where he is? Is that what you're kind of anticipating here with this ranking?
Yeah, I'm thinking that he's going to come back and be solid. I mean, we're not going to probably ever see 20 points per game, Jaelan Phillips, but I think we could see 14 to 16 points per game. You know,
Let's say he does get back to the early season form he had last year. Does that jump him up into tier 2 probably? Ahead of some of these rooks?
yeah, I think so.
I think so too. I just, that seems like such a small, like the kind of range of outcomes. I just see that as a really small percentile of that happening.
Because if we're doing this same episode this time next year, we're probably having a different conversation about Maxx Crosby, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Josh Allen.
They'll be down a tier.
Like there's an opportunity that two of those guys don't quite, live up to their ADP this season.
I think those guys are only not living up to their ADP if they get hurt. That's the thing. It's going to be a very interesting
Josh
conversation.
Allen could. Josh Allen's a candidate.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
he's a huge regression candidate just because he's so overachieved compared to his kind of career
TJ Watt,
numbers
though,
at this
30
point.
years old. Maxx Crosby, what happens if all of a sudden he's playing 75% of the snaps?
The
'cause they're
tackle,
like-
the tackle numbers with Christian Wilkins there is a very good point. That the tackles could be siphoned off a little bit by Wilkins, and what does
just
that
a
do?
bit, right? Just take off 20 tackles
Because
Well,
at the top,
And
those
also-
little edges are what make the difference.
But also, too, like, what if they're trying to prolong Maxx Crosby's
Yeah.
longevity there, and they're like, look, dude, we just drafted Kuntz. Now we've got, now we've got help here with Tyree Wilson. Like, we don't have to play every single play.
and we're not really ready to compete yet.
yeah, this
He's
is
looked
not
at
a
our
team
division lately.
pushing for the
Yeah.
playoffs.
You know, so yeah, I
we got
think
Gardner Minshew as our quarterback.
I think they want to kind of
Dude, he would be
keep
a
him
good
around.
trade candidate if, like, in the NFL. If
Oh,
he
yeah.
didn't mean so much to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's their only good player.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're like, if we trade him, we're basically an expansion franchise. It gets ugly pretty quick there.
Yeah, he's such a good face
Yeah.
of a franchise.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation because I don't really see a lot of guys with huge downside risk in this group that we've talked about. I think Jaelan Phillips, just because of the injury. I think Josh Allen, just because he overachieved so much in 2023. Now, Brian Burns.
Yes, that's
What do we think about Burns?
I'm a little worried about Burns. When you look at the pressure rates, I mean, nothing that special, like career-wise. He's never.
He got paid like a top 5 guy,
right,
and I don't know that he belongs in that category.
Yeah, and
sitting here at number 10 for you.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get all the opportunity in the world, of course. I mean, so that's good. I just don't know that he has that elite level.
You know who he is? He's Kirk Cousins. He is the best agent in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's basically just been able to milk the free agency process of like Josh Allen is going to stay in Jacksonville. Montez Sweat just signed with Chicago. There was nobody else available from a defensive end perspective. So he's like, sure, I'll go somewhere else and get $150 million.
Well, I think
just be mediocre.
I think the thing that could elevate him this year is he finally has help along the defensive line, which is, he's had some decent players alongside him in Carolina over the years, but nothing like what he's had in New York.
He has had nothing.
But yeah, I mean, but if we're talking about help, I think we're mainly talking about Dexter Lawrence because Kayvon was a big bummer last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about him here at the top of Tier 4, but like you said, Bobo, I'm hoping for a bounce back. I'm hoping for something more from Kayvon because he could be a guy that falls out of this top 24 entirely in 2025.
Yeah.
And to reference that career pressure rate for Brian Burns, 11.8%. So
mediocre.
Nothing special, nothing really that elite. And then Kayvon, 9.6 pressure rate as a rookie, 8.4% year 2.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there.
He'll be okay. He'll be all right. I
maybe
still
this
believe,
is a rising tide lifts both of these boats. Both these guys make each other better.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
it's a solid situation. I mean, if they are, okay and live up to the hype, that's a good defense.
I think that team's going to suck, though.
Don't
good
forget.
defensive line, I guess.
Good,
you should
yeah.
say.
Good. Well, I mean, you've got, we'll see what who was the safety they brought in, the rookie, to replace McKinney.
They got Nubin in there. Get you Noob. I mean, we got
Noob.
Deontay Banks year 2. He was their first round pick.
Bobby Okereke. I wish they had upgraded that LB2 spot.
Yeah, they got McFadden and Isaiah Simmons there.
Yeah, who knows where he's going to play.
That offense, though, with Daniel Jones, I mean, this just feels like a 4-13 kind of team. I don't know.
It's going to be a rough year to roster Malik Neighbors.
Yes. I think you're going to have to be very patient with Malik because, did you see that Malik Neighbors called off his Rookie of the Year bet with
Really?
after one practice with Daniel Jones?
Did you see him get out of the van and meet the organization like after the draft? It was a pretty rough vibe.
Yeah.
You could tell he was pretty bummed.
I think there is a very good chance. Like you talked about track record with calling these kind of up-and-coming edge rushers. I feel like I have the good radar of like which coaches are about to get fired.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll feels like a very likely candidate to get canned, possibly like mid-season.
He also
situation,
seems like
man.
somebody needs to keep a check on his like blood pressure.
I was going to say, his face is always red.
Very red.
always
red-faced.
mad.
Always very upset. I think he's always sunburned too. So like, get this
Okay.
guy some sunscreen, but also get him, some Lipitor
Just
to
seems
get
like
the
he's just
cholesterol
ripping
down.
into somebody.
Yeah, he's not a happy guy.
Coach, we done
Hey.
anything good today?
Coach life is stressful, man.
Yeah, I don't know how these guys do. I don't
What
know
do you-
how their heads don't blow off their shoulders.
What's your early take on Pat's coach? You see anything?
Gerard Mayo?
Yeah.
Seems like the coaching pendulum typically when guys get hired, they're the opposite
Okay.
of who came before them. So
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, notorious hard ass.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo is the players coach.
Yeah.
He's yucking it up with the guys in practice. So it's like the breath of fresh air narrative with the coach. So we'll see. I mean, obviously the Pats like him. They wrote it into his contract that he would be the next head coach. So clearly they like this guy. Great player in
Yeah.
his career. So
They say Drake May looks good.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that could be a surprise team that's like, oh, wait, the Pats are actually, sitting at 500 in, October, November. So let's talk about the next tier, though, boys. And we are going to kick things off, like we mentioned, with Kayvon Thibodeaux, starting off tier number 4. And then George Karlaftis is up next, the Chicago Bear. Well, the Commander turned Bear, Montez Sweat. Rashan Gary is after Montez Sweat, and then Alex Highsmith rounds out tier number 4. So again, Kayvon Thibodeaux, George Karlaftis, Montez Sweat, Rashan Gary, Alex Highsmith. This is this is where I think the tier break is for me, Addy. This is where I'm like, there is a lot. We talked about like what's the downside risk for a lot of these, top 3 tiers. I see quite a bit here in tier 4. It kind of gets a little bit still nice, still some nice guys here. Not like, you don't want to start these guys or roster these guys. They're still top 24 assets, but just a little yuckier.
Right. You're not willing to go out of your way to acquire these guys. You're not trying to, throw around some second-round picks, first-round picks. You're not thinking about doing any of that stuff.
No, not for this tier.
No, but, I mean, if you can get values on these guys, right? I mean, these are guys that I think could still go to another level, like Kayvon, like we mentioned, 11 points per game as a rookie, 12.7 year 2, but the pressure rate wasn't great. But that stuff can turn around. The dude is still just 23 years of age. Same thing with Karlaftis. Karlaftis, the opposite. His pressure rate has gotten better every single year. Points per game has improved year 1 to year 2. Also, he's 23, so in a great situation there. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys I think can still go to another level, but they're just not really sexy.
They just feel like edge 2. Like if I'm setting my starting lineup, these are not guys that I'm going to have as like the edge 1 on my team.
Yeah. These aren't guys that are going to be giving you – now maybe Kayvon could flip this narrative, but I feel like most of these guys on this list aren't going to be giving you, big 40-point weeks, or at least not multiple 40-point weeks.
If Kayvon was, 8-point-something last year on the pressure rate?
He sucked it up last year.
And we're like, bad. Brian Burns, 11, ho-hum. He's got a road to hoe if he wants to get up to that kind of that benchmark that we look for when it comes to pressure rate for edge rushers.
Hoeing a road sounds miserable.
That's right. I mean, that's a lot of work, and that's kind of what I picture Kayvon having to do here, man. You're talking about some of these guys with double the pressure rate this guy has. I mean, that's a tall task. Baba, who do you like best out of this bunch here?
I like Montez Sweat best.
I do too. Yeah. I think he's the one I gravitate to the most.
I honestly kind of like this tier. I get what you're saying, that the sex appeal isn't there, but Montez Sweat, pretty good year there for Chicago, 14.8 points per game in 2023. More points per game last year than Will Anderson, more than Brian Burns, more than Kayvon Thibodeaux. I do like Rashan Gary. I understand that he is a little bit boom bust. I know he had a monster game last year. I think he had 2 40-point games just about, and then was quiet in a lot of games.
Yeah,
so
10.7 points per game.
He was very Josh Allen-ish last year. So we need that to kind of he need to find a little median there. But I like Karlaftis a lot. I think I probably like Karlaftis more than Kayvon Thibodeaux. I probably like Karlaftis the most out of the group just because he's 23 years old. And Karlaftis really kind of towards the end of last year when the Chiefs really needed help because the veterans that they kind of had sticking around weren't doing anything. Felix Anduke was doing nothing. Karlaftis was the only one who was actually getting any pressure on the quarterback and actually played pretty well towards the end of 2023. So, I don't know.
Was awesome in the playoffs, too. I remember that.
Yeah. These guys are stinky, but
I think as long as you're looking at them as like I said, it helps my brain contextualize like these are edge 2s on my team. Mm-hmm. I don't want these if I'm starting off a dynasty startup draft, for example, and these are the guys that are my any of these guys are my edge 1, I have made a grave error because I would much rather start off a draft with some of these guys in tier 1, 2, or 3.
I just probably wouldn't want to draft these guys where they're going. I would just wait.
Yep.
I would just pick up the value. I'd look for the Huffs, the Kuntzes.
Is this kind of the dead
zone?
Will
McDonald's.
Is this the edge dead zone right here?
In startups.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. I either want to go elite or get out.
Just punt.
Yeah, give me like one of those top 3 tiers.
Now, you've been talking a lot recently about sort of starting lineup requirements, roster requirements. If you're starting 2 edge rushers versus starting like in a sleeper league 4 DL, does your strategy change at all?
Probably so.
When you're drafting.
If less starters, I'm going to want to be as elite as I can get.
So you may go 2 guys from the top.
Maybe, yeah.
3 tiers.
Yeah. If I could get a decent value on maybe Will Anderson or something. Or
waivers are going to be stupid. You're going to be able to get somebody on waivers at any point.
I feel like I'm a little ahead of market on Will Anderson. Maybe I could get like one of these young guys. Like if I could pair like Will Anderson and Dallas Turner.
I was going to say, could you get the Alabama combo?
I think I could do that and be totally fine with that. And it probably wouldn't cost. It wouldn't cost that much. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Now for what it could be worth.
This is where it helps to be ahead of market because you can get these sort of discounts in dynasty startup drafts.
And that's why I'll take shots on guys like that, because when you do get ahead of the market and it pays out and works out for you, I mean, you're in good shape.
That's a nice profit.
Yeah,
it's a nice ROI.
And it's hard to find profit in IDP. Like it's again, like there was, I think, out of those guys we've mentioned tonight, you're probably only paying like a first for maybe 10 of them.
Yep.
10 to 15 of them, So, I mean, there's just not a lot of money to be made off of IDP transactions. So when you have the opportunity to do it, I think you gotta do it.
Yeah. So there is tier 4. Let's talk tier 5, and then we can kind of have a holistic conversation about the top 24, anyone we left off. But starting off tier 5 here, fellas, is Buffalo Bills edge rusher Gregory Rousseau. Then we go the newest Philadelphia Eagle, Bryce Huff. Jets Jermaine Johnson clocks in at number 3 in this tier. Jonathan Greenard, the newest Minnesota Viking. And then rounding out the top 24 and tier 5 is Travon Walker, the number 1 overall pick from, I guess, last year of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, gentlemen, tier number 5. Is it weird to say I kind of like this tier a little bit more than the tier above? Is that crazy?
I don't think so.
Just because you have, I think, some guys with some really nice untapped upside here.
Honestly, there's probably not a tier. It's probably just one big old
one
tier.
Big tier. Yeah, because I look at, Bryce Huff. This is the year, right? This is takeoff. We've been waiting patiently for him to get his opportunity. Feels like it's here. Jermaine Johnson, we talked about him last episode on the trade show. Travon Walker, we're still waiting to see that potential from the number 1 overall pick fully unleashed.
Year 1 to year 2 was an improvement.
It was an improvement. And then
9.99 RAS, 23 years of age.
The Jags are hoping this investment pays off starting like really this year, next year. This is when they need to start cashing in on this. Yep. And then Jonathan Greenard getting the bag in Minnesota. And having some nice help there, having a nice defensive coordinator. Could he take even another step forward? And then, Gregory Rousseau has long been a tease with the Buffalo Bills, but there's definitely some meat on the bone there as well. So, I think you're right. I think tier 4, tier 5, probably just one big tier, but some juicy names in this list, Bobo.
I think Greg Rousseau is a nice buy right now. I think he's a nice value. What's the deal with Von Miller? Is he still there?
He's 35.
Yeah.
I took him in
round
31 of our most recent best ball draft.
That was solid. I was like, that's good. That'll be fine.
Why not?
Rousseau,
roll the dice.
Rousseau, 24.1 years old. Yep. Entering his 4th year in the league, 8.8 points per game in 2021. Then he had 11.8, 10.6 in 2023. Man, I don't know. Greg Rousseau is just one that I keep expecting to take a step. And entering, this season when you're 24 years old, entering your 4th year, coming off a year where you had 5 sacks, that's a little disappointing. But I don't know, man. Watching Greg Rousseau play ball, he is in the backfield quite a bit, causing disruption.
They need
13.8 pressure rate.
This team was gutted a little bit to get right cap-wise, so
I think
this team needs Gregory Rousseau to step up.
The snaps in 2023, 60% of snaps, 585. I think you're going to see that tick up quite a bit. Hopefully he's north of 70% of snaps this year. That would be awesome. I don't know if that's the case, but you're right, Josh. I mean, there's not a lot of help there. I don't know.
They brought back AJ Epinesa. You still got the corpse of Von Miller out there, so who knows what you get from him. But
I like Rousseau. 13.8% career pressure rate. That's better than Alex Highsmith, who had a 10.5% career pressure rate. Montez Sweat, 11.5. George Karlaftis, 11.7. Brian Burns, 11.8. Greg Rousseau, 6'6", 260.
That's a big boy.
Big boy, 24 years of age, like Bob mentioned. I mean, I think that people are sleeping on him. I think that he could He
It's
could
just-
ball out on this
it's
second
just-
contract
it's
he's
just
about
the
to get.
volume for me. I just would love to see Rousseau somewhere else. Buffalo, I just don't think he's ever going to get north of 70% of snaps.
Yeah.
Did
So-
they picked up his option?
I believe so. I believe
Yeah, I
so.
think they did.
Quiddy Pay got his option picked up, we should mention as well. I think-
Interesting.
yeah, I was on the fence
Wow.
on that one. I think it was just one of those where it's like, we might as well, you know. I was 50-50. I could see it going either way. They end up picking it up. You mentioned Alex Highsmith. To jump back up to that tier for just a second. Another, kind of like TJ Watt. Love him in best ball.
Yeah.
Don't want to roster him otherwise.
Yeah, he had a down year last year, so I do feel like we're due for a good Highsmith year.
Probably some good value to be had.
But he's up and down, very up and down, not consistent. Not the type of player that I really care to roster.
Two starting defensive end spots in your starting lineup. No, thank you, Alex
Right,
Highsmith.
exactly.
Don't want to mess with that.
Give me Nick Herbig.
Him big?
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
him big.
Him big played well last year. And, you know, you got an older TJ Watt. You got a Highsmith who's not, you know, producing elite levels. Here comes him big, you know, on his way in.
Could see it.
I love it.
But that's a great point, though. I mean, that Highsmith is a perfect guy for a league where you start 4 defensive linemen, because who cares? That 4th D lineman
Yes.
is going to be,
Throw
probably a
some-
crapshoot anyway.
Yes.
Like you want those guys,
High
that have
upside
high
guys.
upside in
Yes.
there. Yep.
Give me some boom potential. Give me some dynamite potential.
And that's Highsmith.
How much are y'all interested in Greenard and Dynasty?
I mean, if I
I'm
can
pretty
get a nice little
interested.
deal, I think I actually
Yeah.
saw him get traded for like a late 3rd in this
give
class.
me that all day.
You know what I'm seeing in this
love that.
class?
I think
through
that Chop was available. So would you rather have Chop Robinson or Jonathan Greenard?
Greenard.
Yep,
Easy.
Me too.
Now, if the big 3 rookies are still there, that's
I don't
a
think
different
they were.
story.
I don't think they were.
I don't feel like those guys are going to be there late 3rd.
And all of Superflex or 1QB, it doesn't matter. I'm seeing the big 3 last longer and longer. Like they're staying. All of these people are taking every offensive name you can dream of.
Some of them, yeah. Some drafts are different, man. I've seen them last. Like in that league I did on MFL, like they were 310. I got Dallas Sherman, then I got Latu at 410. That was just like I don't know what was going on right there. It's
Wow.
just kind of a weird.
But that was no position
There's
left
no
behind.
position left
scoring,
behind.
So it kind of equals the
It's an
playing
established
field.
league. I don't know.
Yeah.
People are in different spots.
Strange.
It feels like most of the leagues, those guys are probably going between like 210 and 306.
Yes,
probably.
I don't think I've seen Verse like in most of my leagues. I don't think I've seen him get past like 306.
I went back and looked at past XFL rookie drafts today. Went back and looked at like some 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks. You know the only people of any value, people that were like a 1st round pick, a 2nd round pick. Like, you know, some of these like cornerbacks, some of these not necessarily the linebackers, but it's comical to go back and look at how many misses there are. So like if you get back later on in drafts, don't go reaching for like this 6th round wide receiver.
That's why we talk about IDP so great. You don't have
Yeah.
to take like wide receiver 13 in the
Yeah.
3rd round. You can take the edge 3 in the class, or the LB 1 or 2,
Yep.
Much better store of value than dice roll wide receiver X.
Some of these defensive tackles this year have got some good draft capital. Honestly, I'm interested in some of these corners that are coming out of this year. Like there's some really freak athletic some of the fastest corners we've ever seen. And I know
Good tackling corners too,
Yeah,
though.
absolutely.
Jaron Arnold, I love him.
Yep. Kenyon Mitchell
yep.
could be a freak as well. Kenyon Mitchell, I'm interested in him.
Yeah, they did pick up the 5th-year option on Greg Rousseau. So, I was going back and looking at
Greg.
I was going back and looking at some of the draft classes to see, yes, the 2022 one I think is probably the best comp for this one in terms of like the sex appeal. Let's go back to 2021 and see who the top 3 guys were. Micah Parsons. Now, he was drafted as a linebacker initially, but I think we can count him. It's hilarious. The top 2 guys are converted linebacker to edge with Micah Parsons and Zaven Collins. After that, Jaelan Phillips.
Wow.
So if you're looking
That's a
purely
sick
at
class.
guys that were just drafted at edge, not expected to play edge, or not expected to play linebacker like Micah Parsons or Zaven Collins, it was Jaelan Phillips at 18, Quiddy Pay at 21, and then Peyton Turner at 28.
Wow. And Rousseau at 30.
Yeah, Rousseau at 30. Odafe Owe at 31. Joe Tryon, Shoyinka at 32.
Woof.
Josh,
So,
who do
pretty
you,
ugly.
who do you want more in Dynasty? Do you want Rousseau or Karlaftis?
Karlaftis.
Easy.
Pretty easy, yeah. Just because of the volume. I don't dislike Rousseau. I would love to see Rousseau fly the coop and land somewhere where he gets 75-80% of the snaps. Because I think he's a monster. I think it's just like, kind of a sleeping giant situation with Rousseau.
Karlaftis or Thibodeaux?
Boy. It's really easy to make a downside case for Kayvon. It's harder to make the upside case, so I'd probably go Karlaftis. But I think it's fairly close there. The upside is tantalizing.
Thibodeaux had a 9.64 RAS.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Wow.
Awesome athlete. Bryce Huff. We trying to cash out?
I would.
Yeah, it feels like a good time.
I think so, because I was looking.
It sucks, though, because it's like, it's finally here.
Yeah.
It's finally here.
Time to sell.
Yeah.
It's finally here, but also, like, what is it going to be? Because
Yeah.
last year, the dude had 10 sacks last year, quietly.
Yeah.
But he still only averaged, like, 9.6 points per game. So he's not a big tackle guy. Like,
I'm kind of getting the same vibes out of Jonathan Greenard.
yeah, I
where
think
it's
he's a
like,
great
is
sell.
this a peak right now to where it's like everybody's excited, new team, got paid. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, if you want to cash out on Greenard, I would rather be in on Greenard. I think
agree.
cashing out on Bryce Huff right now is a good idea.
All right, so with Greenard, though, like, you are cashing out. We talked about it. Someone got him for, like, a late third, but you are cashing out probably for an early third, and just the chance that you could get one of those top 10.
Yes,
Absolutely.
if I can roll the dice and get one of the big three rookies, yes, I would cash out on Greenard for
I
one
feel
of
like
those.
most people are going to be hip to that.
If I can get 301 to 303, I think one of the big three guys will be there.
Yeah, I mean, if you could sell any of these guys for an early third
Yeah.
to have a shot.
Let's play the game. Where is the line of
Yeah, that's a good point.
sell for a third, hoping you can get Dallas Turner, Latu, or Verse?
Let's start with Karlaftis, because there's been a lot of talk about Karlaftis
Yeah.
tonight. You selling Karlaftis for 301? I know that seems like that's kind of like selling cheap, but you got to remember, you can get one of these other guys.
If I know I can get one of those other guys, yes, I'm cashing out.
Any of them.
Yep, cashing out. If I can get any of them, oh yes, absolutely.
Everyone, you should be trying to get those 301s.
I'm
Get rid of some of these
trying-
edge rushers.
I'm trying to get maybe a little more because it does feel a little light.
I think so,
301.
but it's the same thing with that trade I made for Dallas Turner earlier this year when rookie draft first started. I traded away Rashan Gary and Chase Young. Chase Young, who cares?
Yeah.
But same thought there. You know, I traded it for, it's a 16-team league, and I got the 212.
212. We broke it down on the trade show.
Rashan
It was fun.
Gary, Chase Young for 212. And you look at that, like, that's really light. Like,
Yeah.
you should get more than that.
Yeah.
I got Dallas Turner, though.
That's right.
I want Dallas Turner.
So Karlaftis, yes, I'm cashing out. Kayvon,
Kayvon or 301.
301.
Yep.
100%. Well, we can't do Verse. Danielle Hunter or 301. I want Danielle Hunter. Again, it's context specific, but
Danielle Hunter or Jared Verse or Danielle Hunter or Latu or
it's close. Very close.
I want the 301.
yeah, give me 301.
Okay, Jaelan Phillips or 301.
301.
Boy, that's a really tough one.
301.
Probably 301. Brian Burns or 301.
God, that
301.
sounds gross.
Probably
301.
301.
Isn't that crazy though? You're gonna feel like an idiot, but
So the line is basically right up to like Dallas Turner at number 9. You would basically want the 301 over. Now, for those guys we mentioned, like I can't cash out on Danielle Hunter and Brian Burns and some of these guys for just 301. I got to get something else back.
but you actually could. That's the thing.
You could get the deal done easy, but I still feel like you could maybe get a little more thrown in.
Maybe, but you also may really win that deal. Like you may look up in 6 months, and be like, holy hell!
Yeah.
I am glad I did that. Danielle Hunter breaks his neck or something.
Breaks his neck. Well,
He has
yes,
neck
if we're-
issues. He has neck issues.
If we're assuming
I'm not putting that on him.
If we're
he just
assuming
does.
the worst case scenario of a broken neck. Okay, real quick here, Addy. Who is off this list, not in the top 24, that you think could jump into the top 24? We're having this conversation late May 2025. Who's now, not counting the rookies coming in, because it sounds like the edge rushers coming in 2025 are going to be pretty sick. But who's someone already in the league that you think could jump into the top
And
24?
it can't be Joey Bosa.
Man, I tell you, I'm scrolling right now and like,
Is there anybody, or is this?
I mean, of course, we're gonna. I mean, could Tyree Wilson ball out year 2? Doesn't seem likely at this
I
point.
don't know.
But
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, he's a candidate. You know, I mean, he is like they don't build them like that often. You know, 6'5", 271.
What was the RAS on Tyree?
He didn't get a RAS. He was hurt.
It would have been like
He just
9.95 probably.
Just so much unknown with him. So I like him. Lucas Van Ness, I mean, what can he look like? Chop Robinson, I think, is a candidate. Like if he comes out and plays well.
These guys all feel like candidates to jump into like back end of tier 5.
Malcolm Kuntz, I mean, could that be like your next Bryce Huff?
Yeah.
Maybe.
We do have an article coming up from Jason King next week looking at like nebulous situations. He's looking at Kuntz versus Tyree Wilson. So look forward to that.
So I mean, yeah, honestly, I mean, there is a lot of candidates because I mean, if you look at the top 24 right now, like who would have thought that Bryce Huff would be up there? Who would have thought that Jermaine Johnson, Jonathan Greenard, right? I mean, like some of these guys, I think are
What about
surprises.
some of your first round guys from last year that kind of underwhelmed? Like what about FAU? What about
Miles Murphy?
Miles
right?
Murphy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's a lot of those guys. Will McDonald, like I mean, even though it seems like we don't know what his role is going to be, like that all that stuff can definitely happen.
Byron Young could take another step.
And there's tons of tons of talent, man. Like there's like Boye Mafe. Didn't even talk about him tonight.
Yeah.
Like he had an awesome second year.
There's some good.
Uchenna.
I was gonna say there's some good veterans just right off the edge, like Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Uchenna Nwosu.
Trey Hendrickson.
Yep, Big Trey.
Yaya Diaby.
Hassan Reddick. So
Yeah,
I mean,
Hassan Reddick.
that's there's a lot of these. I would rather get these guys and not really chase those. What was it? Tiers C and D.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just get these guys that I know what they are. I know kind of the timeline for their careers.
So you want to shop in tier 1, 2, and 3 and just skip 4 and 5?
I think so. Give me the Hassan Reddicks. Give me the Joey Bosas. I'll ride them out, to the end of their career.
Because if the stuff doesn't work out with these guys, you feel a whole lot less bad about the ADP. The ADP on the tier 4 and 5, you've got some invested in that, and then when they don't pan out, you're a little pissed.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a dead zone. It just feels like the area after that top 3 tiers where it's like, I think I'd rather just wait and grab, a Bosa or a Mack or a Reddick or a Uchenna or one of these guys that's a little further down the list, a little older, not as sexy, coming off an injury, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the real thing to do is go out there and buy you some Khalil Mack, Matt Judon.
Reddick is a nice little value.
Reddick's
right
a
now.
really nice value. Like those are the guys that if you're contending, like that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't if you don't want to ever overinvest like in IDPs through your rookie draft or through trading for them, go trade for the vets. Like you can get Khalil Mack. What can you get Khalil Mack for? The dude just came off 17 sacks. You could probably get Khalil Mack for like a 4th round.
I was going to say a 4th round pick.
Dude, Leonard Floyd could have a crazy year.
Leonard Floyd would be fine. He's
Get
fine.
him for a 5th or hell off waivers.
Yeah, maybe.
He's had 10 sacks forever.
Yeah.
And he will again opposite Nick Bosa.
I'd say you're right.
Joey Bosa. I mean, he's probably gonna be cheap.
I have been taking a lot of Bosa in these best ball drafts.
Bosa is gonna have a great year. Everyone's gonna feel dumb.
Just he's dual desi. It's like sitting there in the 4th round.
Don't
like,
even matter. He's a good
pretty
player.
good.
He's
push
a good
the button.
player.
I'm gonna
He's
push the button.
Free money.
Great career pressure rate. Like dude has been solid. Every time he's out there, it's just we know he's got some health issues.
They're going to
he
cut him
does.
soon. It's
They're
Thule season.
Thule's another one. That's
Yeah.
I mean that's someone you could see rising. I thought he was really impressive year
Kuntz
one.
could jump up. Yeah, you mentioned him.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of those
Be
guys
fun.
kind of lurking behind big names.
Yeah,
Thule, him big,
right.
Murphy or no, Miles Murphy.
Yeah.
I
And
know
then you
that's
got-
one John likes.
And then some of the guys, the Chris Braswell's, like Nealon to talk for the third time in the pod.
Yeah.
We got a rookie draft coming up on Saturday. I wonder who's on your mind here, Addy.
I've been picking up Nealon a lot. No, I'm not drafting him, and especially in RSO. We've talked about this before too,
Yes.
but in RSO, I am not drafting any of those edge rushers that are not first round picks. Like just because they usually take way too long. Like they're usually not ready by until their 3rd or 4th year. And
It's like they just broke out, and I've got to pay them, $25 million on a
Yeah.
extension. No, thank you.
Dude, also, we probably need to talk a little Drew Sanders real quick.
man.
pour one out.
Bummer. Torn Achilles, right?
Yep.
Done for the season. I saw some hype or some talk like maybe he could be back for December. I was like,
Don't think
Denver,
so.
you're going to be probably like 6-11 this season. There's no reason to rush Drew Sanders back.
That's a shame, man. I mean, it was already seeming like he was trending towards a bust. We got to remember, anytime that we hear like we don't really know what the position is for this guy.
That's a red flag.
Get the hell out
It's
of
like
that dude.
saving Collins,
Yeah.
saving Collins, saving Collins.
This guy can do everything.
Yeah.
Well, but he can't really do anything that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather him just do one thing really, really well
Yeah.
and do that one thing.
Did you see where Jamal Adams was visiting today?
The Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
That's interesting.
I took him in round 30. I took
He's
the
not gonna play.
stinky stack there to end that best ball draft. Like Jamal Adams
bad.
and Von Miller. Like, they'll sign.
I
Jamal
think
Adams will sign
I took
somewhere.
Chuck Clark, I think, in the last round of one
Yeah.
of them. So I think he's solid. He'll be fine.
Over under Jamal Adams plays 6 games.
Oh, way under. maybe like 3 games, and then gets cut because he's a freaking knucklehead and an a-hole. So, well, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode, Top 24 Dynasty Edge Rushers. Next week, we'll be coming back with a recap of our rookie draft, our main league, the XFFL RSO platform, Reality Sports Online. If you're looking for a Dynasty startup, we highly recommend RSO. It's our favorite platform in our long-running Dynasty League where this podcast spawned out of. We have our rookie draft Saturday night, so we'll be breaking that down for you all. So look forward to that. Should be a lot of fun.
Claws
One
coming
QB.
out.
1 QB, yep, 5 rounds, 1 QB.
Hey, I got the 301 and 302, so I expect some offers from you little
Hey,
cuties.
I got 210, so
It doesn't matter, Josh. You're going to mess that
hate
up
it for you.
bad.
What are you thinking about doing there?
I just value whatever falls.
So the end? The end? Jared Verse. I feels like Jared Verse might be there.
one
Jared
of them
Verse
will-
will be there at 30.
Nah.
You have 301, 302?
Lee has a late second. He does have Byron Young, and I've kind of been like, dude, if you're going to take Verse,
Let me have you.
let me have Young.
Yeah, just
let
give
me
me
have
one of them.
the
Share a
Rams.
little bit.
Yeah.
But
let me have Verse.
Yeah,
Just trade up into Lee's spot. You can get up into Lee's spot.
I don't care. I'm kind of, whatever.
He wants Verse so
Verse,
bad.
dude.
Honestly,
Eat
I
up
don't
with
really
it.
care. Latu.
I mean, you'll get one of them.
Yeah.
You'll get one of those 3.
One of those guys will
Turner's
be
going to
there.
be gone.
I don't know.
Turner will be gone in second.
I don't know.
What are you going to bet?
One of
Sammy?
those guys
Little
is going
Sammy?
at 210. I will just say that.
No,
Little sandwich bet?
I love sandwiches.
I love sandwiches. He doesn't want to give a sandwich.
I
He wants to
put
get
one
a
on the
sandwich.
line.
Come on, man.
Right, I can't risk that.
Well,
Give me
you
a little
guys
peanut
will,
butter and
if you're
jelly.
listening to this,
Cut the crust off.
close to
All
Monday
right.
or Tuesday,
All
you'll be
right.
hearing the recap of how the rookie draft shook out.
What are
So,
you going to do, Joshy? What are your plans?
Josh has the 103.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be Odunze or Neighbors, and then 210, I think, is my next one.
Won't you be my neighbors?
Oh, this could be a lot to here.
It'll be Latu,
Jaelan
Turner,
Phillips.
or Verse, whoever's still there. I think probably I'll have a pick of Turner or Latu.
You think you would go that route? You'd go D end?
Yes, at
I've
210.
got a couple
absolutely.
offensive names that I like, and if they're there, I'd be going offense.
Not saying I wouldn't go offense if there's some value there, but I think the plan right now is one of the top edge guys. That's why I held on to that 210 was so I could snag one of those guys.
Maybe there won't be. Maybe they will go earlier though in a 1 QB. You know, most of the leagues
see.
we've been doing have been super flex. So maybe they won't be there.
Would you trade the 103 for the 105 and the 110?
No. I want one of those top 3 wide receivers.
You might this year.
Are you like farming trades? Are you like
No, I'm just thinking.
brainstorming trades you're going to send out
I have a couple rookie
before
drafts.
Saturday?
I have a couple rookie drafts coming up this weekend, and I really like a lot of this late first. And after Marv, you've got Neighbors and Odunze, and then after that, it's like, what do you
Big
like?
old question mark.
Yep.
So it's like if I can just get a couple more picks and just, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, in that top 12. I
Absolutely.
feel good about that top 12.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have some
I'm not
dart
saying
throws in
Odunze
there.
is not going to hit. I'm just saying, like, if you could get like Bowers and
Keon Coleman, Ladd.
for Odunze,
Brian Thomas has been slipping in some of these
he's
leagues.
been slipping a lot.
So, I mean, if you could get,
Yeah.
that'd be sick. You
Yeah.
get Brock and Brian Thomas. Yeah, I would do that over.
You get Worthy and Bowers, you get Worthy and Brooks, you get
Yeah, Brooks too.
you get Leggett and
All right, we're going to get out of here
Anybody-
as Bobo continues to farm out possibilities for trades. thank you all for tuning in. Like we mentioned, theidpshow.com. Mike Wohlert just dropped his article, 10 rookie IDPs to target in redraft leagues. We'll have an episode of the after show. Jeff is bringing back the Battle Royale series from our first episodes 2 through 5, I think, of this podcast history with the Battle Royale series.
Really?
So Jeff's bringing it back with guests all off season, so look forward to that. We'll have some great articles coming y'all's way.
Better be
we'll be
good,
updating
Jeff.
the draft kit here in the next week, so make sure you're subscribed over there, theidpshow.com. We'll have some more best ball drafts rolling here soon. Keep the ADP updated for y'all. So just so much good stuff happening. Y'all come back next week, though. We'll be talking our rookie draft recap. Until then, y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.
It's the IDP show. Now you